곧 설날이 얼마 남지 않았습니다. 예전에는 설날이라고 하면 보통 큰 집에 모이는 것이 보통이었지만 요즘에는 가족끼리 여행을 떠나는 집들도 점점 많아지고 있는데요. 중국을 제외한 나라들에서 팬데믹 시대가 끝나면서 가족과 오붓하게 해외여행을 생각하시는 분들도 많습니다. 반대로 외국인들 또한 새해를 맞아 휴가를 내어 한국에 오고 싶어하는 분들이 많습니다. 외국인들이 한국 여행을 간절히 꿈꾸게 된 데에는 한국의 아름다운 문화를 보여주는 여행 프로그램들도 큰 일조를 했는데요. 오늘 소개해드릴 달리 뉴먼 또한 한국에 대한 환상과 꿈을 키우는데 일조한 사람입니다. 달리 뉴먼이 PD이자 진행자로 출연하고 있는 트래블즈 위드 달리는 에미상 후보로 오를 정도로 많은 미국인들의 사랑을 받은 프로그램입니다. 트래블즈 위드 달리는 미국, 유럽, 아시아 등 전 세계 방방곳곳을 누비며 미국인들에게 각지의 나라들을 소개해주는 프로그램인데요. 현지인들과 함께 여행을 떠나는 컨셉 덕분인지 그 나라의 문화와 정서를 더 잘 이해할 수 있어 큰 호평을 받았습니다. 특히 한국 방문 이후 그녀가 제주도의 해녀에 대해 감명받았다고 말한 인터뷰는 해외에서도 큰 화제가 되었는데요. 달리 뉴먼이 대한민국이라는 나라에 대해 어떻게 느꼈을지 지금부터 같이 감상해 보시죠.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining me now is the beautiful Darlene Newman. She's the host and producer of the Emmy-nominated Travels with Darlie. And she's been traveling and filming the world for over 10 years. But today, we're so lucky to have us in here with us to describe her experience in Korea. So thanks for joining us, Darlie.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. I'm happy to be here.
So, we got to kick off the show by asking you, what was your initial impression of Seoul?
Well, I was really excited to go to Seoul because I love Korean barbecue.
Same.
I know, it's sad. Will travel anywhere for food, but I love Seoul. Everything from the architecture to, of course, the food, just to the rich culture. I mean, I had a blast there, and it's so funny because I have a friend from college who's been living in Seoul basically since college. She moved over to speak English, so I got to see him the first night I arrived and kind of get his insider's impressions on living there and being a local. And then I hung out with locals the entire time I was in South Korea. Those were my guides. That's what we do in our show. We always have locals on with us. So that makes for an amazing experience, and you really get to know the culture that way.
I totally agree with you. Actually, the locals are the ones who know the hole in the walls and the coolest places.
달리는 한옥 마을에 갔던 일, 김장을 직접 했던 경험 등등을 이야기하면서 그때의 기억을 새록새록 떠올렸는데요. 김장을 하면서 현지인들과 같이 김치를 만들면서 유대감도 느끼고 한국의 문화를 더 잘 느낄 수 있었다고 합니다. 또한 전 세계적으로 주목받고 있는 K-뷰티 체험도 해보고 좋다는 마스크팩들을 바리바리 싸들고 가 미국에 가서 친구들에게 나눠줬더니 반응이 무척 좋았더라는 말도 했습니다. 여러 가지 재밌고 감동적인 에피소드도 있었지만 오늘 달리와 쇼호스트가 중점적으로 소개할 내용은 제주도 여행에 대한 것이었습니다.
I want to show everyone your visit to Jeju Island. So let's take a look at this and then we can come back and talk about it.
Cool.
A strong community of women represent a semi-matriarchal society on Jeju Island and have for centuries. Called the Henya, still today, these women, many of whom are now older, freedive in Jeju's sometimes chilly waters to harvest seafood for their families and communities. During the summer, they work the fields to bring in crops. On UNESCO's World Heritage List, the Henya continue their practices today and also run a diving school outside of Jeju City.
How long have you been diving?
40년.
40 years.
40 years. And you, how long have
20.
20 years, wow, okay.
Established in 2008, the diving school works to pass down traditions to the younger generations on Jeju Island, as well as sharing them with outsiders. I've signed up to take on the November waters off Jeju Island and take a crash course in freediving with the Henya.
That is some cold water, man.
The Henya have to contend with many dangers, from frigid waters to sharks. Just wait until I get into the water.
Am I getting hazed right now?
때문에 어쩔 수 없어.
Yeah.
If you have to survive, you have to do that.
So today I'm looking for seashells and sea urchins. The spiky sea urchins. Okay.
Okay.
I think the gloves will be good.
We get to work. The Henya have been known to harvest shellfish, including prized abalone, for up to 7 hours a day, holding their breath for a minute at a time. I'm attempting to help them today, filming the entire experience with my film crew as well as with my own 360-degree waterproof camera, which allows me to dive down and explore. And I do manage to help, picking up sea urchin and sea snails. It's cold and it's difficult work, but doing it with these women, known for their independent spirit, I feel a huge honor. It's always a privilege when someone lets you have a window into their world. And though I don't last for 7 hours, I am out with them long enough to somewhat fill my net.
This is not easy work, but I have to say it's really fun. I mean, I know it's not supposed to be, it's like really hard work, but for me to come out with this women, it's an amazing experience. I haven't seen anything like this in all my travels. You think of people fishing in modern times, but you don't think of women coming out to the ocean and diving down, free diving to get their dinner and feed their family and friends and everybody on this island here in Jeju in South Korea. So it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible.
달리 뉴먼은 그 뒤 해녀의 부엌이라는 곳에서 해녀들이 수확한 해산물로 만든 음식을 먹으며 공연을 감상했습니다. 이 공연은 제주 해녀의 삶이 녹아있는 연극이었습니다. 달리 뉴먼은 공연이 끝난 후 해녀의 부엌을 담당하고 있는 고유나 이사와 권영희 할머님을 만났는데요.
Won Hyun-hee, an 88-year-old Henya who grew up diving on Jeju Island and is still diving today.
When she was young, every girls learned Henya diving from their mother. So they made tewa, the basket, so they can put the seafood in that basket that is called tewa. They all made that. It was kind of playing first time, and then when they grow up, they go further and dive into the sea.
When did you start diving? How old were you?
10살.
10살, when she was 10 years old.
How often are you going out diving today? At the age of 88.
Twice a week.
한물때 드물 때는
Today and yesterday, Henya's go into the water and get some seafood, but she can't go because she got a cold.
Yuna, who has spent countless hours with Henya women, shares more of their stories.
What have you learned the most from the time that you've spent with the Henya?
They are really strong and very impressive women. Despite of the life is really hard and there's really many difficult things, but they can just go, and with energy, that very happy energy. They think, oh, it's nothing, we can do it. So I think that's the most we have to learn from the Henya.
영상을 진행자와 함께 보고 난 뒤 그녀는 해녀 일을 했던 소감을 말했습니다. 달리 뉴먼은 솔직하게 해녀 일이 힘들었다고 말했습니다. 하지만 그들의 열정과 인생을 대하는 자세에 감동할 수밖에 없었다고 탄복했습니다.
They're on UNESCO's World Heritage List for their amazing, amazing culture. And it's a community of women that actually dive down without any scuba gear. They are free diving down into the water to harvest seafood from the ocean floor. So they'll be underwater for a minute at a time, sometimes more.
Oh my gosh.
And so I put on a wetsuit. It was November. I'm just going to let you know it was not warm. And I was a little freaked out. The guy was telling me, he's like, just be careful of the sharks. And I was like, oh, okay, great.
You're like, awesome.
Great. But you know, these women are hardy and they contend with all these different things, and a lot of them are older.
I saw they're like older than you would expect people to be free diving.
I mean, this will give you like respect for women. I mean, this woman was 88 years old that I interviewed, and she is still diving almost every day and doing this. So I went out with them and I took my 360 camera, which you can take underwater, and dove down with them and did the best I could. I obviously was not working at their pace, but it was an amazing experience. And they didn't speak English that well, but it didn't matter, because just to be able to understand more about how they live there and what they've done to survive and provide for their community, I thought it was fascinating, and of course the seafood was amazing, and after you help harvest it, it tastes even better because you're super hungry.
달리는 인생의 고난 앞에서도 당당하게 대처하는 해녀들의 삶에 매혹되었다고 말했습니다. 또한 그동안 여행 프로그램을 하면서 경험했던 것 중에서도 압도적으로 색다른 경험이었으며 절대 잊지 못할 것이라고 말했습니다. 오늘은 이렇게 미국인이 한국의 해녀들을 취재했던 에피소드를 여러분들과 나눠보았는데요. 가족과 공동체를 먹여 살리기 위해 열심히 물질하는 해녀님들의 행복을 기원합니다.